welcome back to another video. Today I have got a lot of stuff to talk about. Sorry I haven't done a video in like 3 weeks, but over the Christmas time it was really busy, so I am back to this channel doing previews and predictions and just talking about football and also other videos as well. And also I've got a new phone and I've got a little bit of background now. I don't know if it really makes any difference if you can properly see it, and I've got better lighting, so the YouTube videos have gone up a little bit since I've been doing it in the dark on my previews and reactions. So I hope you like the new background. It's not really a lot, but it helps a tiny bit, I think. And hopefully this camera quality is a little bit better than before, because obviously it's a new phone, and also I've got my phone here so I can read stuff off while I'm doing the previews and reactions, and also talking about other things like I will be doing today. So today I'm going to be talking about Enzo Maresca getting sacked, Isak injury, Amorim literally getting sacked today as I'm filming this, but obviously when this video comes out it will probably be a couple of days later. And then also I'm going to be talking about Liverpool at the end, because there is a lot of games that I haven't done previews and predictions on. So I'm going to be going through the results recently. Obviously we haven't lost a game, but a lot of the performances have not been good at all. So in his last couple of days, Maresca has been sacked, and then also Ruben Amorim for Man United. So starting off with Maresca, Fabrizio Romano, bearing in mind this was probably about a week ago, 4 days ago this come out from Fabrizio Romano, saying, breaking, Enzo Maresca leaves Chelsea with immediate effect. Chelsea and Maresca have agreed to part company. The Italian manager won't be on the bench versus Man City. Official statement to follow, but all done after tensions growing last 24-48 hours as revealed. Relationship broken. Chelsea will now start working on a new manager appointment, and it won't take long. Club on it. So starting from this, I know that Enzo Maresca come out in like a press conference or something like that, sort of digging at the owners. Like we all know, as soon as a manager comes out, or head coach, as soon as a manager or head coach comes out slating the owners or the board, you never know it's going to end well, because there is a difference between a head coach and a manager. With what I've gathered between the two is that a head coach just gets given the players by the owners and just have to deal with that, makes sense. But then the manager has to say on some of it who they buy and who they get rid of. If I got that completely wrong, please let me know. But what we know with Chelsea is this Clearlake ownership, they just love making money, and I feel like the football becomes secondary to that, if that makes sense. Like, the amount of young players they've got is absolutely insane, and the amount of money they have spent since Clearlake come in has been absolutely mental. I know that Liverpool spent a load of money over the summer, but they've literally spent like nearly £1 billion in 4 years since they come in. So it's literally about buying players and then selling them on for more, if you know what I mean. And what I've heard online and stuff like that, I don't know if this is completely true, is that Enzo Maresca has been told who to play and how many minutes and stuff like that. I also heard another story, I don't know if this is true, it could be completely bullshit, is that the owners or someone on the board went into the dressing room and said that you can't play Cole Palmer for like longer than 70 minutes, even though he's meant to be the manager. But if you've been told when you've been appointed that you're the head coach and not the manager, and you won't be involved in anything, then you don't really have a say, even though you're probably a bit annoyed, if that makes sense. I'm coming at this at a completely different angle, because there is a difference if you've been told that you are the manager and not the head coach, and have been told that you have a say in the transfers and stuff like that, but then being told when to like play people and when not to play them. So now he's been sacked, they're probably going to be getting the Strasbourg manager, Liam Rosenior. Obviously Chelsea own Strasbourg as well, I think they do. If I've got that wrong, please let me know as well. So it does sort of make sense, but he's another unexperienced manager. And the problem is with Chelsea, they could be so much better than what they are, but they just have no experience. They have no experience in managers, except from Thomas Tuchel. And then also, most of their team is just kids. I know like that quote was going around saying you never win anything with kids. But I know Man United did in the past and stuff like that. But they also had senior people in their squad to help the young players. With Chelsea, it's literally just Reece James, Cucurella a little bit, but he's had no experience. Obviously, he won the Euros, but he had no experience in winning anything like at club level, I don't think, because he come from Brighton. Caicedo, he's a really, really good player. He's probably been the best midfielder this season in the Premier League, but he has no experience like winning anything, if that makes sense. I think of the top teams in the Premier League, like Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal. I know Arsenal haven't won anything, but they're all experienced of being in the title race and stuff like that. Like with Liverpool, you've got Van Dijk, Alisson, Trent when he was here, Salah. Also, we had Mane and stuff, obviously they're not here now. So you have experienced players, so when the young players come in, they can learn off them. But with Chelsea, it's literally just a bunch of kids, and as soon as they heard about a title race, then they just drop off again. I know normally in seasons anyway, Chelsea are quite bad in this sort of December and like January period, but it's still not good enough. And not gonna lie, I don't think Maresca deserved to be sacked, because he got what the club expected last season. And what are you gonna do? Bring another person in that's probably going to be a puppet for the owners? I'm not a Chelsea fan, so if you disagree with me, then you know better than me. But what I see it as, they always buy young players to sell on at a later date. They always buy a young manager, so then they don't have the authority to disagree with them. And look what happened with Maresca. He said something in a press conference, then a couple of weeks later he was sacked. So that's what I'd say about the Chelsea situation. It's not the greatest. Obviously, their interim manager literally got a draw against City yesterday. But he wasn't intended to be like the full manager. So it was like a one-off sort of thing. But Chelsea need to just start buying players over like 25. Literally, that's the only thing they have to do. And good experienced players. And then they will get better, in my opinion. So now going on to Ruben Amorim. As I'm filming this right now, Ruben Amorim got sacked from Man United about 4 hours ago. So this is what he said before he got sacked. The reason why I'm going to mention what he said in his press conference, because I think it links into him being sacked. So in the press conference, I think it was yesterday after the Leeds game, he said, "I came here to be the manager, not the coach of Man United. And this is clear. And it's going to be like this for 18 months, or when they, the board, decide to change. I'm not going to quit. I will do my job until other guys come in here to replace me." So, to start off with, he's probably going back at the board. Obviously, I don't know anything at Man United. So, please let me know, Man United fans, if you're watching this video, if you agree with me or not. But he keeps reiterating, he's the manager, not the coach. But like what I said earlier, what I think the difference is that the manager gets to say on stuff and stuff like that, but then the coach, he just gets given what he's given and just has to deal with it, if that makes sense. And he keeps saying he's the manager, not the coach. I am a Liverpool fan, so obviously I do not want Man United to do well. But the way he kept saying it, it was like he got promised stuff and wasn't being backed or delivered. It's just the way he kept saying it over and over again in this press conference. And I was getting a little bit like, he's obviously been promised something, because why would you keep saying that? I think when he first come to the job, he was promised new players and stuff like that. Obviously, he did get new players, but for his system, it was completely different to what it was Man United were playing before. So he was going to have a lot more players than what he did before. So normally you would have wingers, but then in his system you have wing backs. And in these last couple of games, he's been changing the system a little bit back to a 4-3-3. And I think that he's been told, we can't get the players for your system at this moment in time. You might need to tweak a little bit, like on your formation, and just try going back to a 4-3-3. And obviously that's not his style. He's never played that, I don't think, in his career. Obviously he's not that old, so he's not going to have a long career, if you know what I mean. So he's tried it, and then obviously it's sort of worked, if you know what I mean. But then you're thinking, why should I have to do that when I've been promised certain players that I need for the system? Obviously, I don't know if this is true. I'm just saying that's probably what he's thinking if he has been promised stuff and they haven't delivered on that promise. And I think I also saw in an article that, or it was in Amorim's press conference. Obviously, I don't watch Amorim's press conferences, but I think I saw a clip on somewhere, unless it was AI, that they're not going to buy anyone in January, even though Amorim needs more players, especially midfielders. Not going to lie, like I said, I'm a Liverpool fan and you all know that, but you don't need to play Bruno Fernandes in the midfield because he's not a midfielder. You've got Kobbie Mainoo, you decided not to play him. So you could play Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro, but that's just still not the point. Like, if he has been promised stuff, and I feel like he has because he come out like this, I think he knew that he was going to get sacked because the way he said it. And not going to lie, like I said earlier, when a manager comes at the owners or the board, then it never ever ends well. Not gonna lie, he was probably going to get sacked at the end of the season anyway, but obviously this pushed the Man United owners and the board to just do it now. And at this moment in time, they've got Darren Fletcher, I think it is, as the interim manager, and David Ornstein said it could be to the end of the season or it could be less. No one really knows. But the thing is, with the manager market at the moment, there's not a lot of managers going around. Most of them are in jobs, or the good ones are either retired. I just don't know where Man United are going to go from here. I just hope it fails miserably. But it's a bit like I don't agree with it, but I do, if that makes sense. Like, he hasn't been good enough, but I think he's been promised stuff that they haven't done. Otherwise, why would you come out with this? Does that make sense? Like, it's a little bit odd. So that's my say on the Amorim thing. He probably deserved to get sacked, but I would have given him till the end of the season and let him have the January transfer window to prove himself a little bit and then see how it was at the end of the season. But once Amorim come out and said that, I understand why they did. Now I'm going to go on to Liverpool. I'm going to start off with the massive injury that Isak had when he broke his leg, and especially because we played Fulham yesterday and Ekitike didn't play because there was a little bit of like a hamstring tweak, if that makes sense. So, do you know what I'm thinking? Oh my god, it couldn't get any worse. We've lost Isak for I don't know how long, but apparently he could be back at the end of the season, and he's our record transfer, and he's out because he's broken his leg or fractured his leg, whatever one it was. And then Ekitike could be serious, could be not, but obviously because we haven't got Isak, then you have to be really, really careful, because then if Ekitike gets injured, then we've got no striker at all, and it's like, oh my god. So it isn't great. I just hope that Isak gets better quick, because we need him. And also, like, you never want someone to get injured, but it's not looking good at this moment in time. So since we drew 1-1 to Sunderland on the 3rd of December, we drew 3-3 to Leeds, we beat Inter Milan 1-0 in the Champions League, we beat Brighton 2-0, we beat Tottenham 2-1. I'm going to talk about that game. Bearing in mind they were down to 9 men. We beat Wolves 2-1. I need to talk about that game as well. And then we drew with Leeds 0-0 on Thursday. And then we drew to Fulham 2-2 yesterday. Liverpool, it's a bit of a disaster at the moment. Since I haven't done a preview or reaction, we haven't lost a game. But the performances are horrific. When I mean I have never been so bored watching Liverpool games, you wouldn't think that, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm used to exciting football with Klopp and stuff like that, and watching this team and us play, it is like we just don't know what to do, and it's like we're all like disconnected, if that makes sense. Like, it's absolutely atrocious football. Like, we haven't lost a game, but the performances aren't there. Obviously I would prefer it, but I would understand it more if we actually played really, really well, but lost 1-0, if that makes sense, because you know that performances are going to turn into results. But The way we're playing, we're not losing games. We've got mostly draws and stuff like that. But the performances are horrific, and that's what makes me think that it's not going to get any better. Like I said, I don't want us to lose, but I would understand if the performances were there, but they're just not. And we're just like cruising. It just reminds me of the start of the season as well. Like, we're not beating anyone, we can't score. I don't know what's happening. We can't create anything, and it's not Salah. Salah's gone to AFCON, so it's not his fault. No one can say it's his fault because it's still the same now when he's not here. It's not Salah's fault. I just don't understand that. Konate and Van Dijk have been a little bit better, but trying to create something is like we've never done it before. And you know what we do is we've got slow build-up play, and then we pass back. Like Van Dijk and Konate, most games have most of the ball in matches, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's absolutely horrific, and I just don't like the way we're playing. You all know that I'm not slot out, but I'm starting to turn a little bit. I'm not going to say slot out just yet because I think he deserves till the end of the season because what he done last season. But the amount of money we spent and our bad performances, they're really bad. I've never been so bored. When I mean, and you'll probably know this as well, the performances have been terrible. And the amount of last minute winners we have given up is absolutely mental. Like, there will be 30 seconds left in the game and the opposition will get a goal. I am just not enjoying watching us, and it's like, well, like I said, it's like we're all disconnected and don't know what to do. And I just can't believe it's like we start to attack and then we get somewhere and then they pass it back to Van Dijk or Konate. I'm like, just keep going. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand, and it's winding me up. And do you know the worst thing is, whenever I know that a Liverpool game is on, I don't even get excited anymore because I know what it's going to be. Like the other day, I was watching the Wolves game. Wolves are at the bottom of the league. They are shite. I know they got their first win against West Ham the other day, but they've only got about 7 points. Not even that, probably. No, 6. They've got 6. And we were hanging on in that game, and it was ridiculous. How can you be hanging on in that game with the players we have compared to what they have, and we are hanging on at the end? And I'm literally sitting there for the last like 30 minutes going, oh my God, like this, if we get a draw here, it's drastic. Do you know what I mean? And then also the Tottenham game I have to talk about. They were down to 9 men, Tottenham. They got 2 players sent off, and they nearly drew the game. How is that even possible? And Tottenham were at home. They are shite at home. How are they nearly getting a draw when they have 9 men? I don't understand. The thing is, for a neutral, it probably is all right because you never know what you're going to get with Liverpool. And then also the Leeds games and the draws. At the start of the season, we didn't draw any games. We either lost or won games. But the thing is, draws aren't good either, especially when you're in our position. But the thing is, we have been bad. Man United have been bad. Chelsea have been bad. But we are still in 4th place on 34 points. Chelsea are in 5th place with 31 points. And Man United are on 6th place with 31 points, the same as Chelsea, but Chelsea have got a better goal difference. And not going to lie, the only good teams this season have been Arsenal, Man City, Aston Villa, Sunderland, obviously, because they just got promoted, and Sunderland are sitting in 8th on 30 points, only 4 points behind us. So what I'd say is we shouldn't be 4th, but the Premier League this season hasn't been a particularly good one so far. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad, because otherwise we'd probably be in about 8th place. I'm not being serious, we've been horrific. We haven't lost a game in like 7, but performances have been bad, and then also we have drawn a lot of games, especially against teams that we should be beating. But I just want to quickly talk about the Fulham game that we drew yesterday when it ended 2-2. That Reed goal was absolutely amazing. Obviously extra time, and Gakpo scored his goal and took his shirt off. I think when people score a goal, they need to stop taking their shirt off. And then about 30 seconds later, Reed scored the banger. That is probably going to be the goal of the season, to be honest. It was so far out. Not going to lie, the defending was a bit shit. How could you allow someone to have that much space and shoot outside the box? I will never understand. But Alisson couldn't save it because it was right in the top corner. So what do you do? They this is what I mean about Liverpool. At the start of the season, we were scoring late minute winners, and now teams are scoring late minute equalisers and winners against us. Also, a little bit of controversy in the Fulham game. Wirtz scored a goal and it was given onside when every single camera angle looked like it was offside, and a lot of people have talked about it, and even Jamie Carragher come out and said that that was offside, and I do agree. If that happened against me, I'd be absolutely fuming in my match reactions, but I'm gonna take it, do you know what I mean? Because if it was for your club, you would take it as well. So that's all I've got to say for this video. It's a longer one than usual, but obviously, like I said earlier, I have not done a video in nearly like a month, so there's a lot of stuff to get into. So please let me know in the comments what videos you would like to see next. And obviously there will be previews and reactions coming up on the channel again. And if you like my background a little bit, I know it's not the best, but if you like it, please let me know in the comments. And also, please let me know if this camera and audio is better, and also the lighting. Also, we're on 461 subscribers, so please can we get up to 500? I would really, really appreciate it. So remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!